What you're about to watch is a completely raw, basically unedited, and basically uncut version of a Michigan basketball fan's reaction to today's game. So if you're a Wolverines fan, a rival fan, or a college basketball fan in general, go ahead and subscribe right here, hit that bell notification so you won't miss any of the action. Now, without further ado, here's that reaction you came for. Enjoy. Michigan with the big W over Ohio State today, 92-87. Let's talk about it. Man, oh man, I knew this was going to be high scoring. I really did. My prediction going into the game was 82-81, Michigan over Ohio State. I thought it was going to be wild. I told Phil, I said, I want you to record your reaction on your cell phone, horizontal style. Make sure you get every little detail, and I will edit it because I want your live reaction instead of one of these post-game reactions. I thought that'd be good. I knew you guys would enjoy that. But we didn't end up with that because late in the game, we ended up breaking away a little bit from Ohio State. And they almost made it a game in the end, man. It was 90-87. They had a chance to bring it to a tie. Whatever. At the end of the day, I think the story of the game was Michigan plays team ball, and Ohio State, I'm not saying they don't play team ball, but they are three main guys. That's CJ Walker, Duane Washington, and obviously EJ Liddell. Those three guys combined, they scored 23 points. That's out of Liddell. Duane Washington scored 30. He was a game's high scorer in general. And CJ Walker scored 15. But outside of that, they scored 11, 14, 16, 19 points. That's it. 19 points outside of their big three. You don't win a lot of contests like this. This isn't the Miami Heat with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. That's not that kind of team. At the end of the day, a team effort, a chemistry effort is what won this game for Michigan, and it's what I knew was going to win this game for Michigan, even though it was going to be close. And to prove that, Isaiah Livers had 12. Hunter Dickinson was the lead scorer for Michigan. He had 22. Eli Brooks had 17. He was the second leading scorer for Michigan. He started off the game when we started off, we were losing 5-0, and Ohio State, if they would have hit another shot, they would have gone up 7-0, would have caused a quick timeout for Michigan. Could have got ugly early, but they missed that shot when it was 5-0. Eli Brooks came down, hit the three, later on hit the three again, and the damage just wasn't done. So those were two huge shots by Eli Brooks. He came to play today, again, 17 points to end the game. Franz Wagner with 9 points, Mike Smith with 11. It felt like Mike Smith had way more than 11. It really did, because he hit shots in a small little span over and over and over again. And when he wasn't hitting shots, he was assisting the ball to also hit shots. He was huge. I'm going to continue to say it. I sound like a broken record at this point. Mike Smith is that dude, okay? I love Xavier Simpson. I love his heart. I love everything he stood for the University of Michigan. But Mike Smith is a better point guard. He's a better distributor. He's a better scorer. We need Mike Smith, and he's going to be huge in the Big Ten tournament and the tournament at large. He hits shots when we need him to most, and he does everything perfectly. He really does, because he'll distribute the rock. He'll distribute the rock. He'll distribute the rock. But when teams start to go towards where he's distributing to, he hits the pull-up jumper, and he makes it all the time. That's what you need to do as a point guard. You need to distribute when it's appropriate. You need to make the shot when they're going towards that distribution. That is how it is. Mike Smith does that to a T. He is so clutch at that. Love him for it. And Shondy Brown off the bench. Huge. 15 points. 3 for 4 from three-point range. 6 for 8 overall. Man, oh man. Wow, Juwan Howard. Wow. You hit an absolute home run when it comes to transfers for the University of Michigan, and you hit an absolute home run when it comes to recruiting. And to think that next year's recruiting class is only going to get better, and to think of the possibilities of who we might get from transfers next year, man, next year's team might be even better than this year's team. But we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. This year's team is where it's at because, again, as I've said, Blue Bloods, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Michigan State. Some of them aren't even going to make the tournament. This is the year for Michigan. And can I be honest with you? I don't want to sound cocky. I don't want to sound too overconfident. But we're probably better than Gonzaga. And we're probably better than Baylor. The only way we don't get it done this season is if our region and our bracket does not favor us. And I won't even be mad if it doesn't, because in the past we've had some pretty favorable brackets, especially in the 2017 season when Wagner and company went against Villanova in the national championship game. So I can't complain too much. But man, I hope we get a favorable bracket. I really hope we overtake Baylor as the number 2 overall at the very least, because that will help us largely in that regard. But yes, again, Michigan gets a win because of team ball. They played as a squad today, and man, it looked beautiful. They showed today that they not only play good defense, but even when we get into a scoring affair like today was, where, man, Ohio State was so hot in the first half, so hot. We understood today that we could score with the opposition, no matter how good they are, no matter how well they are shooting. Speaking of how well they are shooting, Ohio State was 11 for 22 from three-point range, 50%. They were better than that in the first half, but we, in the first half, were 9 for 12 for 75%. We ended up slowing down a little bit. We were 47.8% and 11 for 23 from three-point range overall. But for the most part, we caught fire. The teams as a whole shot very equally. Michigan shot 53.4%. Ohio State shot 53.3%. So pretty much dead on. There's a little bit of questionable reffing calls, officiating calls, what have you, but nothing to really cause a ruckus about. There's a lot in the chats during the streams, but nothing that I would consider egregious. I would say the last 3 minutes of reffing in the first half was pretty bad, particularly Franz Wagner's call when he dished it off to Dickinson and they called an offensive foul, and then later they called an offensive foul on Dickinson. Those were pretty bad. They sent my friend Phil in a little bit of a ruckus, but for the most part, they weren't enough of like game deciders, and we proved that. We won the game regardless. So yeah, I'll continue to stand by the fact that Michigan plays team ball, and Ohio State, I'm sorry, I'm not hating on them. I know they're our rival. I know I have Ohio State fans watching this video right now. I'm not hating, but I think they're going to need to find help outside of their 3 big guys, because Michigan has that help. We don't need somebody to be the budding star each and every game. We have a team, a squad, who shows up when other people are not showing up. They come together as a unit. Every single night you can expect a different guy to show up and show out for the University of Michigan. The most consistent guy has been Hunter Dickinson. He seems to be showing up more often than he doesn't. But regardless, as a whole, we have a team, a complete unit, and I'm stoked for it. That's why I think we're going to win the championship this year. I really, really do. So real quick to close, talking about that championship, we have, what, 5 more games left. We are versus Iowa, at Indiana, versus Illinois, versus Michigan State, and at Michigan State. And can I tell you, I think we're going to go 4-1 in that regard. I'm going to guess that our one loss is going to be in the split series against Michigan State. I hate to say it. I know that we're a better team than them, but I just don't see Michigan beating Michigan State twice in one season. I just don't. I respect them too much, even when they're on an off year. So I think we're going to win against Iowa because we're at home. I think we're going to win at Indiana. That'll be a close game, but I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win against Illinois at home because we're at home. Home court is a big thing for us at the Chrysler Center. We've proven to be very, very good there, so I'm going to stick with that. I think with that, as long as we kind of show up in the Big Ten tournament, maybe at least go to the championship game or even the semifinals, we should be a 1 seed. And I just want to do well for the rest of the season because I don't want to just be a 1 seed. I want to be the overall 1 seed or the overall 1 seed at number 2, whatever that means. I want it to be us at number 1 overall, or Gonzaga 1, us as the 2nd overall 1 seed. All of that kind of sounded confusing. I just don't want to be 3 or 4 for the number 1 seeds. That's really what I meant out of that, because then you're going to sneak around and end up with a pretty tough region, and I don't want that. Michigan can get it done if they get a favorable or at least somewhat favorable region. Let's see what happens. But until then, we have 5 games left. Let's finish strong. Again, appreciate the support in the streams, guys. Unbelievable support today. God, it was amazing. It was so much fun. I know you guys have seen how well we've grown on this channel, and we want to continue to grow. And I know that you guys know that we're very appreciative of that, but in case you don't know that, we are. We're very appreciative of it. Thank you for showing up and showing out. Go Blue, baby. Let's do some damage in these final 5 games in the Big Ten tournament and the tournament as a whole. One game at a time. We'll see you next time. Go Wolverines.